All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Good to see everybody. I hope you're doing great this morning. Big waves out there. If you're not a morning person, then that's okay. Maybe this will make you a little more alive this morning on this Tuesday. So excited to have you on. And I'm going to get right to it because this was by request, this word for today. And it kind of rocked me a little bit because I might have bruised my toes and a couple of fingers and might even got my ear. So it didn't just step on my feet; it stepped on my head and feet and hands and everything. Right? You ever had words that do that? You're like, oh, this is me right here. So the word for today, and I'm going to get right to it because as you can see, I've done some studying, okay? So my word for today is vulnerability. And thank you for the person, you know who you are, that gave out that word, vulnerability. And so one of the definitions to the word is the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. So if you look at that word vulnerability, that could be it. But I'm going to go in a different way. Okay? All right? So I want you to look at something with me. How embracing vulnerability strengthens relationships. Okay? Think about a relationship that you want to have right now. Maybe it's with your spouse, maybe it's with a friend, maybe it's with a coworker, maybe it's with someone that is not in your domain, but you know that you could better yourself if you had a relationship with this person. Okay, is everybody with me on that? So how embracing vulnerability strengthens our relationship. So I'm going to read this to you real quick. Science has revealed a long list of complex reasons why social connections benefit our mental and physical health. Experiencing relationships and support can lead to longer lives, healthier habits, reduced symptoms of stress, and a sense of meaning in life. I don't know about you, but I want all of those. All of those things I want to experience in my life. So I got to looking at this, but here's the problem with vulnerability. See, however, all that's great, but in our culture, we often praise people for having thick skin. How about it, Bill? You need to be tough. You need to be tough. Got to have thick skin. Staying strong. Staying self-contained. Like we mistakenly brush up against vulnerability as weak. Would you agree? You got to be tough, son. I've told my son that. Like, you got to be tough. So here's the deal. Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control of the outcome. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's our greatest measure of courage. Brene Brown said it, Rising Strong. I'm actually going to give away a book at the end of this. But here's the thing. We got to realize that vulnerability, and I've got one more minute, but I want you to think about something, okay? Many of us struggle with vulnerability, just being open. And I wrote down 6 things really that can help us, okay, with vulnerability. Being able to be vulnerable and ask for what you need. When we're hurting, it's easy to dismiss our pain or try to protect ourselves and the people around us by closing ourselves off. Have you ever done that? It's okay to look at somebody and just admit, hey, I need some help. Here's my challenge. Here's what I'm going through right now. Number two, be willing to expose your feelings. Being able to accept where we're at is it, and our feelings and what we're going through is huge, huge for creating connections and relationships. How many of you feel stronger with someone when there's a sense of vulnerability? Right? That's what's huge about this mastermind we're doing today. We will start to be vulnerable with each other in that mastermind session. And there will become a bigger, thicker bond because of that. Number three, say what you want. If I'm talking to Myra Miles, it's okay for me to talk to her and tell her what I want. Here's what I want out of this situation. Here's what I need you to help me with. And I want to tell you my feelings. Okay, you follow me there with vulnerability. And guess what? Me and Myra is going to have a stronger relationship because of that, because of my willingness to do that. Number four, express what you really think. It's important to listen and then give feedback. Express what you think. Number five, slow down and be present. Be where your feet are. That will create more vulnerability. When you're in the presence of the person, your eye contact is there. They know you're listening. I don't want to step on anybody's toes on Zooms, but I've been on Zooms before where it's like three of us on a Zoom and the person is not even listening. Like they're like this. Not a whole lot of connection there. So being in the present. And I'm kind of jumping around, but here's the bottom line. I'm going to leave you with this. I know I've went over. But a lot of times our vulnerability, and this is where it stepped on my toes, goes back to our childhood. Maybe it goes back to a parent going, son, you need to be tough, thick skin, and now as an adult, I'm closed off more. I keep my feelings inside. I don't confide in somebody. I don't really let them know what I'm thinking or what I need or the challenges I'm going up against. Does anybody, you don't have to raise your hand, but that's me. That is me 100%. Some people, it's a challenge to show vulnerability because maybe they were raised in a dominating household, but I challenge you to read. I'm going to give away a book that will really help you if that's you. Okay. If there's things holding you back because of past history of challenging relationships, maybe it's your parent, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your sibling, that's caused you to be closed off to people and not be vulnerable. I challenge you to break out of that, because the vulnerability will allow you to create some amazing relationships in your life with the people around you. This community allows us to be more vulnerable. Would you agree with that? So for the person that gave us this word, thank you. I hope it added some value what I read. I had a lot of notes, but in 7 minutes, it's tough to get it in. So, Coach, I'm going to turn it to you, and I actually took 11.
Okay. Awesome, Coach. Awesome. Always is. So you are so appreciated. And it's kind of ironic. Most of the time, Coach and I we've already shared what we're going to do either the night before or at least an hour and a half before time. But it just seems like since I've been home and working from home, that has not been possible. So it's really odd to me that it's not odd, it's just a coincidence. And I think it's because of this lady, Brené Brown. She is who I'd never heard of, to be quite honest. But when I'm doing my research on this, she's all over the place. And in my opinion, by just the stuff I've read, she is the expert on a lot of things, but in the vulnerability, it was amazing. So I'm going to kind of share with you some things that I read, and then I'm going to also share with you something that Val shared with me at the very end to kind of sum everything up. But Breen Brown, she was on Super Soul Sunday, and if you don't watch that on the OWN network, it's really, you don't even have, you can go, online and watch Oprah's interviews with some of the most amazing people. I encourage you to do that. But she was talking with her, and she was actually on the show to talk about her book, Dare Greatly. And I'm going to get that book now that I've heard her talk about it a little bit. But just to kind of summarize her talk, it was about 40 something minutes. But she was talking about how when she started getting recognized for the speaking on this word, she was on a speaking circuit and she got super busy. She's on CNN, she's on ABC, she's on CBS, she's on everything. So that to me says credible. She's a credible person upon this because it's on all news networks, just on one that, some people want you to be on. But she was talking about everything. Well, her agent and her husband told her, as she's talking about all these events, whatever you do, do not read the comments. Don't read the comments that people are putting out there about your speeches. Well, of course, what'd she do? Like most all of us, we read the comments. So she was reading the comments and they were brutal. They were brutal. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you some of the things. And of course, here's the kicker. They're all anonymous. All anonymous. So, but she was talking about that. She was kind of depressed. Well, her husband went to work, her children went to school, and she decided she was going to sit down and watch Downton Abbey, the series. Well, and it led her to Google after watching this series. It led her to go on Google and to just see what was going on in the US during the time of this series, what it's based upon. And she said it changed her life because the thing that came up first was an unbelievable quote by Teddy Roosevelt. And Aunt's going to put this up on the screen so we can quickly read this. It's called The Man in the Arena. And Aunt, can you put, okay, here it is. The man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. So that is his place, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So she said that quote, that from him changed her life. And here's what she decided. She said that after she read that, number one, she said, that's who she wanted to be. She wanted to be the man in the arena because it stood for being courageous and daring. And then the second point she made, which she said, and all the research, it tied all of my vulnerability research into my second point. And she said, it's not winning or losing. It's simply showing up and being seen. And then she said, at the end, she said, if we're not in the arena getting our butt kicked on occasion, she said, I'm not interested in what you have to say. And she went back to the comments from everybody being so critical of her. She said, so if you're not out there every day getting your butt kicked and putting yourself out there, I'm not interested in you and what you have to say. So in the very end, what I wanted to do is I want to read, Val shared this, she has a book and it was about vulnerability, and I thought it was amazing, which I told her. She didn't send it to me just for us to talk about it, but what she did is she sparked a very big interest in looking into this for me. So of course I said it, but I want to read this to you real quickly. I'm going to read the highlighted areas that she had. Of course, I can't get this phone to pull it up. All right, here we go. The first time I read this quote, I thought, this is vulnerability. Everything I've learned over a decade of research on vulnerability has taught me this exact lesson. Vulnerability is not knowing victory or defeat. It's understanding the necessity of both. It's engaging. It's being all in. It's kind of what we're doing right now. We're all in what we got going on in our business. And the last thing I want to say that she had highlighted, which I think is so valuable, rather than sitting on the sidelines and hurling judgment and advice, we must dare to show up and let ourselves be seen. This, my friends, is vulnerability. So again, like Coach Palmer, it was very eye-opening to me. Two things I got out of it is I can't be scared to be vulnerable, and that this Brené Brown, she is somebody that I'm absolutely going to start following and learning more about her. So, but I think Coach is going to give away a book now, and I appreciate your time, and don't be scared to be vulnerable today and every day. Have a good day.
Coach, this was a great topic. I mean, I know it took a little longer, but I would dare say that the majority of us in this room has a degree of vulnerability issues, and it's okay. I know I have them. And as I was reading the research, Coach, what I realized was a lot of people have those by, it might be rejected or, negligible parenthood. We might see ourselves as a burden or intrusion. We might have a parent that was critical or flew off the handle. I think about all the kids that I taught and coached. This would be their case. And then as you grow up, you may walk on eggshells and really keep to yourself. And so we've got to self-develop in those areas if we're dealing with those issues. And Anthony, I want you to pull up the book as I end. I'm going to give this away. I've actually read the book. I read it, I don't know how long ago, but crazy enough about it, it was her, Brené Brown, and Rising Strong. I'm going to give this book away. And how the ability to reset transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. But on the back of the book, it talks about it goes back to vulnerability. Okay, living a brave life, like stepping out and realizing that we got to work on this. This book will help you if that's an area of weakness for you. I know it is for me. So I'm going to go back and read this book, but it deals with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, Coach, and couples in long-term relationships, teachers, parents. It's a really good read. So anyway, thank you for the word today, Coach. Thank you as always for sharing, and let's give it away. Let's give a couple of copies away, okay? So here's what I want you to do in the comments. In the comments, let's type in, what's a word we can type in, Coach? I done lost my train of thought. Not vulnerability. We'll be typing all day. Let's hashtag strength. Strength. Okay? So strength. Hashtag strength. We're going right now. Hashtag strength. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Andrea, would you care to pick? Just, I know how you got it. You just close your eyes and pick one. Who's the winner?
We have Melissa Jackson.
All right, Melissa Jackson. Melissa Jackson.
All
You
right,
got-
Miss Melissa.
Melissa, send your address to Andrea Rosser, please, please, please. Thank you, Andrea, for helping us with this. Let's go now. Let's hashtag strong, hashtag strong right here. Let's give another copy away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Who's the winner, Andrea?
So sorry, couldn't unmute. It's Hunter Goad.
Hunter
Hunter.
Gold. All right. Way to go,
Awesome.
Hunter Gold. You're
Way to
going
go,
to love
Hunter.
this. Listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. If this is an issue, listen, I promise you, if you have trouble, if there's some reason you can't get the book or the finances are not there this month, reach out to me. I'll get it for you. Okay. All you got to do is send me a private message. Me and Coach will take care of the book for you. But the bottom line is, I know there's people out there struggling with vulnerability and those challenges we talked about today. If that's you, get this book. I promise you it'll add value to your life. We love you. We're grateful for you. Have a good Tuesday. Talk to
Love
you tomorrow.
y'all. Have a great, great day and week. Thanks again.